and very welcome to today's webinar. In today's webinar, we're going to just have an overview. I'll just provide a very brief introduction to TU Dublin, the school and the programs. Then we have our chair, Emer McInerney, who will discuss our part-time MSc in Geospatial Engineering and Data Management and our part-time postgraduate certificate in Geospatial Engineering. So they're essentially the same course. So the postgraduate certificate is year one of the master's, and it's springboard funded. And that means that up to 90% of it is available to be funded if you are employed, and if you're unemployed, it's 100% funded. So it means that essentially the cost of the course is 2,700. So it would mean that if you're employed and you go through the springboard route, and everyone can go through it, there's no caveats about who can't. Obviously, you just have to be living in Ireland. Residency kind of rules do apply, so yeah. But there is meaning that you would only pay 300 compared to, let's say, the fee paying rule, which would be 2,700 for year one of the masters. So it's a great opportunity. We'll go into that as we progress through the presentation. And then when you complete year one of the PG cert, you can then progress to year two of the masters and complete the master. So if it's your idea to do the masters, it's the same. The PG cert is embedded into the year one of the master, so it's the same course. We also have our chair Santos here with us now as well, who will discuss our MSc in GIS, where we have a full-time and part-time opportunities in that as well. So just a small bit on TU Dublin, just at a glance. We have 3 campuses. We have 8,000 graduates a year. You can see 29,000 students and 7,000 part-time. And we are one of the leaders in education across, engineering, construction management, quantity surveying, and so forth, and geospatial surveying and digital construction. So we're quite kind of strong in those areas. And as you can see in here, there's a lot of TU Dublin. I think where we really thrive at the university is the applied aspect. So all our courses are very applied, meaning that we're trying to get graduates ready to kind of go out into the industry to hit the ground running. And obviously these are postgraduate offerings. So what we're obviously trying to do is take anyone with a skill set and really harness that and evolve it. And meaning no more better than the 2 masters we're about to discuss today. So just a bit about the school. All of our programs aside in our kind of School of Surveying and Construction Innovation. Within there we have a number of different programs and disciplines, which we'll have a look at now in a second. And we are the longest established and best educated surveying professions in Ireland. So originally, before Surveying and Construction Innovation, the School of Surveying and Construction Management, and we've been around in that kind of that area, the school in some kind of form. I think that since the inception of TU Dublin, or DIT at the time. So we have 5 core disciplines. The first one is quantity surveying. We have construction management, property economics and real estate, geospatial surveying, and digital construction. So my remit, though, I probably actually didn't even introduce myself. I'm Barry McCauley. I'm the head of digital construction and geospatial surveying. So I work with a lot of guys here to kind of develop and progress the programs. And one of our new programs, which we're quite proud of, and we launched there about a month or so ago, is our Masters in Geospatial Engineering and Data Management, which is a conversion course, and it's accredited by the SESI and the Chartered Engineers, Civil Engineering and Surveyors as well. So we have multiple accreditations within the Masters as well. And it's obviously a conversion course. But once again, what we've done as well is we were fortunate to get springboard funding for year one of that course, which will essentially is a PG cert in geospatial engineering. And then obviously if you decide to progress in year 2 of it, you'll enter into you'll be able to go on and complete the Masters in Geospatial Engineering and Data Management. So What we're going to do is I'm going to pass over to Emer now, and she'll share her screen, and she will run through force programming, and then after that we'll pass over to Santos, who'll go through the GIS, and then thereafter we'll be around to take any questions that you might have.
Great. Thanks for that, Barry. I assume you can see my slides there, or my screen there. So yeah, I'm just going to go a little bit more. Oh, hang on. I'm in the GIS there. I'm jumping ahead of myself into the geospatial engineering data management one. So as Barry said, our TU426, the postgraduate cert, has been Springboard funded. It's a 1-year program. So I'm just going to go through a little more of what you can expect in that year, and then I'll go into how that feeds into our full and part-time in the MSc in geospatial engineering and data management. So just to say for anybody that here, the masters won't run on a full-time basis until 2026. So today we'll just be going through the PG cert and how it feeds into the part-time element of the course, but it will be available full-time from September 2026. I see from the list here, maybe most people are in the geospatial or kind of sector or discipline, but for those that aren't or joining it or those watching after, so if you're wondering what is geospatial engineering or data management or what we're trying to do with these new courses, so we're looking to produce highly educated, technically proficient, market-ready graduates who can feed into this evolving geospatial sector and kind of maybe bridge the gap that we see is appearing in the sector at the minute. There is a little YouTube video, and at the end, when we're going through the questions, I might just share the video and specifics to the site, because I know some people were having some issues with the PG Cert site. So we can share everything again at the end, and then they will be available in the slides. This might be covering it if it is. So in terms of the PG cert, so it's TU426. As Barry said, it is Springboard funded. It's a 1-year program, and students will be required to be on campus in Bolton Street 1 day a week and 1 evening on week. We're looking at possibly a Tuesday for the full time from 9 to 3, and then 1 evening a week, but that is to be confirmed. Students who then complete this first year can leave with a PG cert, or they will leave with the PG cert and then have the option of coming into the second year of our part-time program in TU 209. And again, this will be the second year of this would be 1 day a week on campus and 1 evening online. As Barry said, the master's element is accredited, and the campus that we'll be delivering from is Bolton Street. We do see this as a level 9 conversion course. So we're looking at students that maybe have already just done a degree or graduated and are looking to get more specialized in the geospatial sector, or we have a lot who are already working in the sector and looking to get that qualification, that master's level qualification in geospatial. So the entry requirements is a 2-2 level 8 honours degree. When we come to welcoming our international students, there is an English proficiency level there that is up there. So we're looking at graduates initially from the built environment, architecture, construction, engineering sector, but we'll also consider applicants from geography, geology, environmental sciences, or students from other courses if they have kind of experience. But we'll also look at recognition of prior learning for those that are already working in the industry and have the experience but may not have that qualification. So we can look at that on a case-by-case basis. And if there's something that you want to inquire about or talk more about your specific case, you can reach out. I'll put the details in at the end as well. And within the course, or within the discipline, our graduates are in quite a varied field of employment. So there's lots of routes that you can go into that we foresee when you complete this module or this master's. The modules are also jointly delivered between part-time and full-time, so there will be kind of a mix of students in the classes as we go. So the PG cert, if you're wondering what modules look like or how your year might look like. And again, once I put in the link to the course, you can click into these modules in more detail and see what exactly is more involved in them. So in semester 1, we have geospatial surveying. That's actually coming up in 1, but it will run over semester 1 and 2 as it's a year-long module. So this is more the theory and the field-based side of things. We'll also have coordinate operations and GNSS in semester 1. And then in semester 2, we'll have scan to BIM and survey data analysis. Again, if anything more specific about the contents of course, there'll be a link. There's a link to each module on the course page as well. So you can look at that in more detail. And this is the 1 day a week in person and then 1 evening online. You'll see that this, as we move on to what the part-time version might look like, and you'll see that the first year of the part-time is the same as the PG cert. So once students have completed that, they have the option to go into year two. Year two is not Springboard funded. But this is what the modules will look like: Introduction to Programming, GIS in semester one, Reality Capture, Earth Observation, and IoT for Smart Cities and Cognitive Building. We're also offering an optional module, and it's there as in semester two, but it will depend on what you choose from the suite here, as they are jointly delivered with some of our other programs. So they may run in semester one or two, depending on which you pick. But we have options like spatial databases, machine learning, drone remote sensing, advanced analytics. This is actually project management, and then work placement module. Students then will move on, and as with the full-time, they will do their capstone project over the course, similar to a dissertation. Students that don't complete the dissertation can leave with a diploma in geospatial engineering and data management, but on completion of the master's and all 90, or your capstone project and all 90 credits, you can have the master's in geospatial engineering and data management. The master's 1 year on a full-time basis runs over 2 days in person in Bolton Street and 1 evening a week. And then again, this is how your semester one would look, semester two, capstone project with your options mixed in there as well. In terms of where we're getting the geospatial engineering and data management, just so you can see how we cover both aspects of the course, and that the data management is kind of embedded in the course as well. So on the geospatial side, we've geospatial surveying, coordinate operations, GNSS, introduction to GIS, scan to BIM, reality capture, earth observation, and our drone deployment optional module. And in the data management, introduction to programming, survey data analysis, IoT for smart cities, machine learning, spatial databases, advanced data analytics for the built environment. And then industry focused side will be your capstone project, where you'll be working on a real world project with an industry focus, and the work placement module if you choose to take that as your optional. As Barry already mentioned, our courses are accredited by the SCSI and the ICIES, so they're on the master's element of it and not the PG cert. Again, our graduates, for those that aren't, I see a lot of our graduates are already here, or people would be familiar, but there's quite a varied range. So it would be an exhaustive list if I put it down, but between construction companies, survey companies, public and private sector, and we've quite a diverse range of students, and our students, particularly on our other courses, have been very lucky within employment out of graduation as well. So I might stop sharing my screen there and hand over to Santos if you want to take over, and we'll come back to questions at the end as well on this side.
Perfect.
Thanks.
I hope everybody can see now my slides.
Yeah, I can see it there. Yeah.
Excellent. So welcome everyone. I'm Santos Fernandez Noverol. I'm the program chair for the MSc in Geographic Information Science. And this program is running 2 different modalities as a full-time, and you see the code there, 20268. We have as well a part-time modality, which runs over 2 years, but I will explain all this in the coming slides. So we have as well a possibility for a postgraduate diploma in Geographic Information Science, but mostly this program runs as a master, and as I said, it has 2 modalities. The first one, full-time, runs over 1 year, and you have a link to the website with more details. And as a part-time, over 2 years, in which case the students will only attend 1 day, one evening per week. Okay? All the classes are delivered within the city campus in Bolton Street, and it's a conversion level 9 program since 2013. This means that anybody could potentially apply to this master with no previous knowledge of GIS, although obviously that helps. So people coming from geography, geology, or environmental sciences will obviously have a little bit of advantage initially compared to students with no previous knowledge on these subjects. But however, as I said, this is a conversion level 9 program. So all the modules on the first semester will introduce the students to the concepts that we will go into more advanced detail on the second semester. So if you don't have previous knowledge of GIS, don't worry, you'll get introduced to the vector data model and raster data model in general. Same as for programming, another modules that could be a bit intimidating initially for students. I'm actually the coordinator for the programming modules, and the assumptions I take in the introduction to programming are very basic. So I start explaining variables and other basic structures of programming. So I assume nobody has previous knowledge on programming on that, okay? And the master, if you take it as a full-time student, is delivered over 2 semesters, and then you'll have to attend to 12 different modules, plus the dissertation module that is usually running over summer. If you would like to do it as a part-timer, then you will have to attend 4 semesters, which means that it's 2 years, really. Okay, so 1 year will have 1 semester, but in that case, you will have half of the modules per semester. Instead of 6 per semester, you have 3 modules, and obviously the dissertation at the end. The modules are delivered jointly for full-time and part-time students, which I think is highly beneficial for both sides. Usually part-timers are students with a lot of experience already in the industry, whereas the full-timers are students that just finished probably their degree. So that joint approach of these modules is highly beneficial for both sides. And modules can be taken as well as CPD if the students decide so, which means that you can take individual modules and just focus on those regardless of getting the MSc. Most of the staff members in the master are belonging to the Bolton Street campus, although we have some from computer science, especially for the module web and user interface design. This master is accredited by the Society of Chartered Surveyors in Ireland and the Royal Institution of Chartered Surveyors in the UK, which in theory will allow you to work almost in any part of the world, as is accredited by these institutions. Okay, as I will mention later on, there is a lack of graduates in the GIS, so this usually guarantees a really high level of employability after you graduate on this program. The course delivery is mostly face-to-face, and we could do it sometimes, but exceptionally online. Say, for instance, there's some really bad weather, or there's some issues with IT sometimes, we might move certain modules online, but it's exceptional, okay? All the classes take place in the city campus, in the lab rooms we have in Bolton Street, and we use as a virtual learning environment this platform called Brightspace, and the online lectures, in case they are, would be delivered through Bongo, okay, which is integrated within Brightspace. And that platform is where we share all the materials, notes, exercises, and where students should be submitting their assignments as well. So it's a very convenient platform for sharing all these materials and notes for us and to interact with the students as well. All the students will need to self-enroll at the beginning of this master into Brightspace and the different modules of the program. But anyway, these are details that I usually explain to students on the induction we have at the beginning of September, where I explain all these details: access to the library, access to software, etc. In terms of the modules that compose this program, we can see if we just focus on the full-time, which means that we come 2 days a week to class, usually 2 evenings. And we'll see that on the first semester, we introduce you to all the foundations that have to do with geographic information science. So fundamentals of GIS, spatial databases, introduction to programming, web and user interface, spatial data acquisition, and geographic information management. So once we have that foundation, that basic level, we can develop them more with the second semester with GIS2, in which case we will learn things like network analysis and remote sensing techniques. We have as well geographic information modeling, in which case we create models using a GIS, RPI, and model builder. So highly advanced models for data management and spatial analysis. We have as well programming for GIS, where I introduce you to open source libraries in Python to understand the vector and the raster data formats and the analytical possibilities we have with those open source libraries. We have web mapping and advanced spatial data management. You might have noticed that I skipped for a second work placement because that takes place really at the end of the second semester, where students do their placements in different companies. These companies could be a range of public bodies and private companies as well, within the domain of really broad, really consultancy, telecommunications, and different branches of engineering. Okay? This work placement usually lasts for 2 weeks at the beginning of May. And there's an option as well, if you agree this with the company that's going to be facilitating your placement, to run it over the summer. Okay, but that's something that can be arranged at the time. Okay, and over the summer, so we have it more or less like a third semester, you will be dedicating your time to the research project and dissertation. That will be a 30 credits module that will allow you to get the master's degree eventually. And the same structure of modules is for the part-time program, in which case the students only come 1 day per week to class, usually 1 evening. Okay, so that structure is subdivided in 2 years. Therefore, first semester we only have half of the modules that regular students in the full-time program will have, and that will be followed up by the second semester more advanced modules in GIS, Geographic Information Management, and Programming for GIS. Okay? Second year, we focus more on web development and more advanced concepts in databases and spatial data acquisition, and we wrap that with a 5th semester with the research project and dissertation. Here is a quick glimpse to the first semester timetable. As you can see here, the lectures are delivered throughout 3 days per week, right? However, the full-timers will only be attending the class these 3 days, okay? Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays, whereas the part-timers will be only doing the modules that are in gray, okay, with the gray background. Okay? This is not usually changing much from year to year, but it could be still, seeing some changes before September. And this would be the timetable for the second semester. Okay, same thing. Full-timers will do the full timetable. Part-timers will only do those modules with the gray background. And in terms of work placement, I would really like to reinforce this module because I think it's very important for us due to the high level of employability of our master. Our students have a requirement to complete at least 10 days in a company, a placement of 10 days in a company. And the time frame, as I said before, usually takes in May, and students can take a longer placement if they wish so over the summer, but this has to be agreed with the company and the module coordinator, which is Emma McNerney as well. She's just here with us as well. And the assessment of this module will consist of a task that it will be assigned to the student, either that it can be agreed with the company or maybe with the coordinator of the module, and they will need to submit a report finally, so that can be assessed and do a presentation that will create the final mark for these students. Okay, and the participants on this work placement is just a selection. There we have Virgin Media, Corec, KPMG, so that would be consultancy. We have Atkins as well, Malon, and Esri Island, but there's others as well. Okay, we have had the students in the Central Statistics Office and the evaluation of Ireland. So just to summarize everything, the MSc in GIS at TU Dublin is offers a very good mix of international and Irish students, which I think is very highly beneficial for everyone. And probably the most important for the students is that it offers full employment for all our graduates, okay? Full employability to all of our graduates. And this is because there is a lack of students in GIS that is being highlighted by the main stakeholders in the industry, both in public and private sector. And as I said before, our graduates will usually work in GIS consultancy, local authorities, transportation companies, engineering, marketing, and any other company that works on daily basis with geospatial data. If you want to access more details about this master, you can click on the website. And as you saw at the beginning of this presentation, you have my email as well. So I'm more than happy to answer your questions individually, right? So I'll hand it over back to you, Barry.
Thanks, Santos. Sorry guys, just one sec. Here, okay. So, sorry, it won't let me, or shares wouldn't let me kick off from the previous last page, so I'll just go to here. Okay. Just to finish off, guys, you can find out more about our courses here through this link. So I'll just post that into the chat for anyone that's looking for it. And it'll bring you to kind of a list of different programs within the school at level 9. And we also offer additional kind of research elements in terms of MPhils and PhDs, if anyone's of interest in that. But I know we didn't kind of concentrate on that. But if that's something that's of interest to you, where you want to go down the research route, just reach out to myself at barry.mccauley@tw.ie, and I will absolutely go through that in detail with you. We have a number of colleagues in the school that are actively looking for research students, if that's the kind of space that you've been interested in. Other than that, it probably just brings us to our final slide of questions. So is there any questions you'd like us to kind of, I suppose, discuss or go into more details, or anything further clarity you require? Is there anything you need to know about the Springboard element as well? So the Springboard, if you go to Springboard, you're able to kind of just go to the course list, and if you kind of just do a search, put it even in the word geospatial, what will happen is it'll bring you directly to our course. We're the only geospatial Springboard funded course, so it should be simple enough to find. And then you apply through Springboard, you actually apply through that portal, and that's where your assessment's done. While on the TU Dublin aspect, you apply and you go into the TU Dublin kind of postgrad portal. So they're just different application systems. That's all, but they're both extremely straightforward. Yeah, guys, any questions or anything that we can go into a bit more detail on? No, everyone's more than welcome to just come in and talk. Yeah, Robert.
Just a quick one there on the geospatial engineering on the day on campus. Has the day been confirmed? Sorry if I missed that there.
Yeah, sorry, Emer, sorry.
No, you go ahead there.
Sorry, I know, because me and Emer are already talking about this, so apologies, Emer. I'll let you take on geospatial engineering questions there after this. It's a Tuesday, Robert.
Tuesday, okay, sorry, yeah, I missed that.
Tuesday,
Perfect, yeah.
Tuesday, yeah.
And the evening online is to be confirmed. Is that right?
Yeah, I'm looking at it. Yeah, it's to be confirmed, but it'll be a Wednesday or Thursday, I think, for the evening online. I'm just looking at timetables at the moment, so it's probably looking more towards the Wednesday evening.
I think there are 16 places available on the Springboard for the course as well.
Yeah, we have 16 funded places, so we'll be dropping on them quite regularly, and kind of, so look, we won't keep anyone in place. The format for when you're applying for Springboard is Emer will go on and will assess your application from an academic standpoint, and if you meet the criteria, then your application gets moved to successful. And then what will happen is our Springboard department will then just reach out to you for additional documentation, just to to satisfy their criteria in regards to eligibility, such as residency and fees and requirements if that's the case. But like and passport, so it's fairly straightforward. But yeah, it's just an additional check, and then after that, then you're transferred over to TU Dublin to be processed in their admission system. That's good. I mean, it's all very smooth and seamless. Any other questions? Anyone? Anything at all, or if you don't feel comfortable talking, you can just put it into the chat.
Can I ask a question on, I know there's a few people here who would have had the geosurveying diploma and they would have decades of experience now. I presume that's not going to be a problem with regard to the 2-2 of a level 8 that you were mentioning earlier. Could they be viewed as favourable candidates?
So yeah, we have a recognition of prior learning route. So that's very much based on a candidate by candidate basis. But those.
You're going to delete all the versions.
Sorry. Oh,
Have you got the versions open?
No, I didn't say it. Sorry.
Oh, right. Sorry.
Yeah.
Someone else has. Oh, yeah. Sorry. Yeah. So it's
Yeah,
case by case basis. So obviously people working in the industry with experience, and we take the CV and look at it that way as well, based on it. So if you wanted to chat about your particular case, more than welcome to reach out and we could discuss it. But yes, we will be looking at people already in the industry with the experience looking to get the qualification.
Yeah, no, absolutely, Gareth. Like, I mean, we're we have a number of different routes onto the course for everyone to explore. So, if you don't meet that 2-2, like, what I mean, and you have a level 7 with 5-10 years experience, yeah, like there's some obvious pathways then into the course, without a doubt. So yeah, we'll just as I would say, just apply for it anyway, and then look if there's any issues or anything that we'll obviously have a chat and reach out, but there shouldn't be. Any other questions, guys?
I think we've put the links to the course pages in the chat there. Myself and Santos have put in, and our email addresses as well, if you want to send any emails or have any inquiries that you want to send directly.
Just another one on the job or the work placement. If that's for some people, is that okay if it's their own employer who is in the
It's okay
planning?
if their
Yeah,
own
yeah.
employer, if they're not doing their own job. So if they're doing something else within the company for those days and
Yeah.
within the time. So we do have, so we have it, it's on the MSc at the minute, and it's an optional, it's on the GIS one at the minute, and it's an optional one on this. So if you decide to take it, we do have kind of part-time and full-time students in the GIS that are currently doing it with their own employer, but they have to prove that it's a different from their own job and that it meets the requirements of the course. So again, those would be kind of case by case basis as to what you propose to be doing or what the job or how it would be structured. But it is possible to stay within your own employer, because we do understand that it's difficult to take the 2 weeks to go elsewhere when you're already in full-time employment.
That's great, thanks.
Okay.
Just to add on what you were asking earlier, Gareth, in relation with the requirements to access the master, the same would be applying for the MSc in GIS. You will need to have a bachelor degree level 8 with 2-2. In your case, I don't think you will have any issue with English, but if it's an international students, they need to have a certain level of English. However, and this is a big however, if you have demonstrated enough experience in the industry, we can arrange an interview, and that's, as I said, as Barry said, that shouldn't be an issue.
That's great. Thank you.
Yeah, I think we're all kind of extremely flexible. But anyone, in regards to if if they're wondering about meeting the qualifications, or the progression entry, like just apply. Like, I mean, we're conscious that we want to try and not block anyone's access to kind of progress in their careers or kind of postgraduate options. So yeah, just apply, guys, and we'll work together, I'm sure, to get you over the line. If that's the case. Any other questions or anything else? As I said, if you want to put something in the chat and you just don't feel, if you want to put something in the chat, absolutely. If not, what we can do is obviously the contact details are there. So if you have any questions, just reach out to Emer, reach out to Santos, reach out to myself. And more than happy to kind of arrange a call or a further Teams call with anyone that would need a bit more information. And we'll try and disseminate this video as well, so you kind of have this as well and look back over. Okay, brilliant guys. Look, thanks very much for turning up, and I'd love to see the majority of people here today on the course, and hopefully I will.
Thanks very much,
Thanks, guys.
everyone.
Thank you very
Thanks.
much all. Bye
See
bye.
ya.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks a
Thank
lot.
you.
Thank
Bye.
you.